Hi, I'm Amber, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be building a circus in Sims 4. Really quick, I want to say this is my gaming channel. I do also have a main channel and I'm finally working on another video to go up on there. I know it has been ages. So let's get straight into the build. So as always, if I am looking down over here quite a bit, in fact I'm going to move that slightly, it is because my screen playing back the video is down here. So I decided to build a circus. It's kind of an annoying thing to build in The Sims 4 because the way that roofs work, other than thatched roofs, the underside of all roofing is just this like void of white and greyness. So you can't really go into the build and look up at like the magical tinted ceiling made of roofs like you could in a real circus. So from the exterior, it has this gorgeous roof shape you can see that I kind of just did straight away and was really happy with. But the inside is just going to be, it's still a red roof, so it still matches the vibes, but the inside is just going to have like a flat red ceiling inside of it, just because that was the best way to get this to work within The Sims 4. And then you can see kind of the basic structure has already come together really nicely, with the big circus tent opening with the curtains. I think that looks really good, and it's just like a really easily, sorry, I'm being fidgety. It's a really easily just recognizable shape. You can tell what this is straight away as soon as you look at it. These aren't words. I tried to add this like banner or like bunting sort of thing across the top between the two peaks of the roof. I saw it in a lot of the example images I looked at and I thought it was really cute, but I couldn't get that to work. So I ended up putting this sign from into the university stuff pack, expansion pack, which I always in my head call Get Educated, which is not what it's called, but I think that would have been way more of a funny name for it. And then inside I put down, I haven't recorded in a while, I'm sorry. I put down just some plain wooden flooring, seemed to be what I saw in a lot of example pictures. I thought we had a popcorn cart in The Sims 4. I might be thinking of The Sims 3. I feel like maybe we don't have a popcorn cart in The Sims 4 because I could not find it. And I wanted to use it as like the admissions bit where you pay to get into the circus. So I built this out of a bunch of random stuff without any like mods or tool mod or anything because I don't know how to use that. And just I put a cash register on it so you could make this lot into a retail unit if you wanted to. And then just like some money, pens, notes, which I assume would be like the tickets. Just some bits and bobs and a camping chair. Something I kind of did in this build, I wanted it to be pretty realistic as far as like the small town to town circuses that I've seen in real life, which is just like the one that comes to the local field. It's there for 4 days and it goes away again. So it's not like the most huge famous circus in the world. It's just sort of a traveling performance thing. I wanted it to be kind of realistic based on that. So I like the mishmash of like the circus is very stylized and it's got all of the equipment and the lighting and everything like that. And you've got this like fancy little ticket booth thing, but then just a camping chair, a folding camping chair, you know, instead of, I don't know, a fancy circus chair or whatever. I just thought little things like that. And then there's quite a bit more I add that you'll see just to give it a bit of realism. I thought was quite fun. Here you can see me choosing between a lot of chairs, because I wanted to do like stadium seating, but we don't have that in this game. And again, I think The Sims 3 has sort of like subway seating, stadium seating sort of thing, but The Sims 4 doesn't have that. The Sims 4 is boring. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, so I just thought it's more like an old theatre style with individual lined up seats. They must just travel around with a lot of chairs. So I lined those all up. I was using F5 while placing pretty much everything in this build. F5 allows you to place on half tiles or quarter tiles. You can always do half tiles, so quarter tiles, which meant I had more freedom to place stuff within the curved structure, but it was still going to be matching and symmetrical and everything across the whole build. Then here, I don't know what I was doing. My brain went a bit weird and forgot that we can just do round fences, and so I tried to like build this custom round center and it just was a bit weird, so yeah, just did some round fencing instead. That makes way more sense. The main structure of the build pretty much coming together here. It didn't take a huge amount of time. It's when I get into the details, so the front of the circus, in front of it where people go before they go in or after they've gone in, with like activities and things, is one of the big focuses. And then the other bit is behind the circus tent where the performers would live, and I tried to put a lot of effort into making that. I mean, I have never worked in a circus, so I don't know necessarily what's realistic, but just like from what I've seen at my local circus, from what I've seen in real life. And also, not all of the chairs face exactly towards the performance bit, but I tried to make them all face towards it perfectly, and it looked ridiculous. So it's just The Sims. I like how it looks. I think it looks good. I think it looks perfectly fine, good enough, and it's really cute. So I'm really happy with this build, to be honest. I really like how it turned out. And you can see here I put those 2 big silver column pole things. Those, I think, are debug items. What is my laptop doing? And those were meant to be like, I know they're not lined up perfectly with it, but those are supposed to be like the big poles inside the tent that hold up those 2 peaks of the roof. And then I was going to put a skate rink out the front, like roller or ice skating, because I thought like a fun activity thing to do at the front that you pay admission for and do. But it didn't look right. It was too big. It just looked silly. So I ended up putting a debug Ferris wheel that is from the high school pack. And that looks perfect with this build. I mean, it ties in so perfectly. I'm really happy with that. And I was having a scroll through debug, and you can see in the back right, just placing a bunch of random bits and bobs that I found that I thought would be useful in the build at some point. So I just shoved those all at the back, and I thought we'll come around to those when we need them. Because debug is such a nightmare. I wish we could use the eyedropper tool on debug items. I really do. I kind of get why we can't, but again, I just wish we could. If anyone knows a mod that allows that, that would be amazing. What I've been doing when my Wi-Fi actually allows and works is sometimes I save a debug item, and you'll see me do it at one point in here, but my Wi-Fi was down so I couldn't upload it to the gallery, is I'll save a debug item in a room and put it on the gallery, and then I can just find that, other people can find that. So the one I did here was some like barrier fencing from debug. So if you search, again, I didn't actually get to upload to the gallery, but if I had, and you search debug barrier, it would come up in theory. But the gallery is always a bit weird. Here, I put in a toilet block, just the sort of thing I'd seen at the circus I've been to. It's a basic, like, toilet block. Just like on stilts, and then it would be on a trailer and moved around and put where it needs to be. It's a bit scruffy, it's not the cleanest, it's a bit disgusting because it's chemical toilets and they are always disgusting. But yeah, didn't want to put like a huge amount of time into it, but I think I did make it realistic. It doesn't stand out in a bad way to me. I think it looks how it should. And then, yeah, obviously added fencing because it looked crazy without fencing, and a bit more grubbiness. Then I started working on like the food stands, the activities, everything that goes on out the front of the big circus tent. And excuse me while I get comfier because I had pins and needles when I sat down and I couldn't cross my legs, and now I can. This is my favourite bit of the build. It's ridiculous, but do you know the game Hook a Duck? I don't know if it's just an English thing or like a UK thing or if it is everywhere. But Hook a Duck is where you have a gazebo like this, you have little rubber ducks in some water, and you get a fishing rod, and the ducks have little hooks, and you hook one, and then it will have a number on the bottom that aligns with a prize, and you get a prize. So it's like a prize every time sort of thing that's good for like little kids as well who don't want to lose and then get upset and have a strop. So then I put the ducks in the middle with a couple fishing rods underneath, and I put a load of prizes hanging up on the legs of the gazebo, and I just think it turned out so perfect and so like realistic. Like, it's just one of those things where it just turned out really good, and I'm really happy with it. The gazebo, I think, is debug from high school years. And then there is another one I end up using at another point as well that I don't think it is debug. I think that other one is just a normal like decor. I think it's under like the statue icon in decor, I think. I can't remember what pack that's from, to be honest. It's one of the newer expansions, I think. I don't have the 2 latest expansions. There's the love one and the death one. They just didn't interest me. And which is really weird because I get almost all the expansion packs. I feel like the game has so much stuff in it now that I didn't feel the need to get them, which is really weird. When like when the horse one came out, sorry, I seem to have at some point left the game, just paused staring at a screen, so we can look at that for a minute. But like when the horse one came out, obviously it was a huge thing, adding horses to the game. That's like an entirely new thing in the game. But like the death pack, I have looked at it, but I don't feel like it's enough. It's like £38, I think. Oh, this new tripod I've got is a bit wobbly. I'm not loving it. But yeah, I am hoping something actually happens on my screen in a moment, or I'm going to have to stop recording and sort that out. It's going to be a whole thing with sorting out the sound again, so please do something. And then as you can see on the screen, I put in a few different food places. This layout does change a little bit in a bit. And then I put out some folding tables from Outdoor Retreat and folding chairs, just to make like a little area where you'd sit and eat your chips and stuff. Oh, there we go. We're back playing the game. So then you could just see there the other gazebo. That one I'm pretty sure isn't debug, and it has a little wall on the side as well. I was trying to figure out what I was going to do for this gazebo, and I decided a fortune teller would be really cute to put in there. So I chose a table with a little patterned tablecloth and some folding chairs, and it's got these light bulbs hanging around the edge of the gazebo as well. I thought that was just kind of cute and fun, and like a little something that maybe one of the performers does when they're not performing and makes a bit of extra money. I don't know, it's just a fun little thing to add out the front. And then I was trying to think of other things I could add other than just food stalls. So you've got like a photography wall thing, you know. That's what I'm trying to think of words. I haven't recorded for so long, my brain is just not with it. You've got a photography backdrop thing with the same lights as I put inside of the circus and a camera, so in theory you'd like go, obviously this doesn't work in the game, you could just take a selfie there with someone, but you could go have a picture taken professionally and have it like printed or emailed or whatever and pay for that, and that would be another thing you could do. And then here, I really like this bit, I added like a little, I think Americans call it a petting zoo. I don't know if we have a direct name for it here, but like a goat pen where you look at goats. So I added that and just popped that at the front. And then I think, I've started working on the bit behind. There are a few more bits and bobs that go on out the front, but for now I put this horse shed because I feel like people who travel about a lot tend to have horses. I don't know. Maybe they perform in the circus. I don't know if that's legal in this country anymore. Animal rights, etc. But yeah, I put like a horse shed thing that maybe they take it down and pop it back up each time. It seems like a lot of work, but I don't know. And I found that cannon and I was like, that is perfect. That is like the essence of cartoony circus. And so I had to put a cannon there. And then this is what I was on about here with the barriers. I was saving the barrier as a room to my own gallery, it's not called a gallery when it's offline. Library. I saved it to my own library so I could re-download it each time I needed one instead of finding it in debug because I'd lost it. And that just made it so much easier for me to place all of these barriers around, because these look just like the sort of thing you'd see at a festival or a circus or any kind of travelling event. So I placed a few of those around the edges, just separating the front and the back where the people live. And then I found this perfect thing. It's from high school years, it's debug, and you can place a food stall within it. I think it's gone off the screen now, but it was that like ice cream stall looking thing, and it looks just like the sweets trailers that you would have at like fun fairs and things, selling like candy floss and stuff. So I was really happy I found that item, and I moved things about very quickly and placed it where the photo wall was and moved the photo wall to the other side of the lot. That's a lot of words. And then again, just placing a few more bits and bobs inside the circus that I'd found randomly and placed out the back, going for all those random bits and bobs that I'd saved for later. There's a gazebo with a bunch of chairs just for the performers to hang out at. And then I started adding cars and trailers and things that people would live in, and more cars and trailers. I really wanted to find, and I did find in the end by just scrolling through debug, because my internet connection had gone, so I couldn't look on the gallery for this, the debug lorry or truck. I really wanted to find that because I was like, they would have to have something to transport, there we go, you can see it there, all of these, you know, chairs and equipment and stuff. And so I really wanted to find that just for that bit of realism, and I'm glad I did. And then yeah, you've got 3 main trailers, sort of all round in a little circle, and an office trailer as well. Yeah, oh, I found these like structures you can see just there either side of the back of the circus tent, and I thought they looked sort of like something that would hold up the whole structure of the tent. I just placed them out the back each, and I think they don't look too strange and random. I think it kind of makes sense. You'd have those around the back hidden, holding it all together, but the front looks a bit more neat and tidy. Then there was just some rubbish bags, a fuse box, which I guess would work. Oh, you can see their connection required on my top right because my Wi-Fi was messing up. Yeah, well, maybe some rubbish bags, an electrical box to run like the lights and stuff inside of the circus. I do place a generator at some point as well. And then, yeah, I'm kind of just in the phase of placing a lot of bits and bobs and finishing up the build. And I think once I've placed these weeds to make it a bit more realistic, word of the day, realism, pretty much done. I think we are done. Oh, not quite. I placed a bunch of random bits and bobs in the back of one of the pickup trucks as well for some realism. Again, realism, word of the day. And then I think at some point I also, I don't know if I recorded it, but I put a bit of terrain paint. There we go. Thought of some words. I put some terrain paint down as well under kind of the main walkways and things. There's a washing line there as well. Again, just adding random details. There was a boxing and some boxing gloves next to it. Punching bag, there we go. Yeah, and some boxing gloves next to it as well. There we go, adding some terrain paint, because it did look a bit too green and perfect. And I've said it a million times, but I think we are done now. Thank you so much for watching and sitting with me while I say a bunch of random things and do a Sims build. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Please subscribe if you did, that would be amazing, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!